So thank you all for coming, and I'm very impressed about the two other keynotes because they're a little bit part of some topics we are doing, so I have questions later on. So where I'm coming from, and it's probably to say Deutsche Telekom as a telecommunication operator, but I'm coming not from the business unit, so I'm coming from the innovation department of Deutsche Telekom. And what is probably very special in some kind of this department, Telekom Innovation Labs, is that we are a private-public partnership with the Technical University of Berlin and with the Art University. So who is from Germany probably know Gesche Joos. Gesche Joos is the internet person from the German government, and she's a professor at our lab. So what we have is we normally doing, so we have people, employees from Deutsche Telekom, and then we have the professors there, and we have jointly projects together with them. And the projects we are doing are normally projects for Deutsche Telekom, and it could be, and there are some examples there, that we set up new companies because they are too disruptive for our strategy or for the market, something like that. So I'm innovation, but I'm still giving you a little bit of an overview about that topic. Myself, I'm responsible, and that's the reason why I'm so interested in especially the emotional topics. I'm responsible for smart data analytics and communication. So we have three topics. One topic, as you can imagine, is communication. So communication between our customers, like WebRTC, just as an example, and the other one is looking into all our call centers, and there the emotional things are very interesting because we are working there on virtual assistants, especially for Austria. And then I have the other topic, and that's called customer insights. So we're working there on ideation, looking at ideas for innovation from a customer perspective. Working on that one, we have an environment, design thinking, so that's the other topic. And the third topic, and the talk is about the third topic, is data analytics. And we started with the topic 6 years ago. As you can imagine, the topic at that time was not data analytics or big data, so we changed it over time. It was started with recommendation and stuff like that. And we went through the topics, and I will start with no? It's not working. Yeah, with the first slide. So we started with the topic 6 years ago, and 3 years ago we looked around in the company and what we saw, and we called it at that time big data. So we said, okay, what do we have within the company? And we looked around and we found, and who is in technology know what I'm talking about, we found 6 different infrastructures, Hadoop infrastructures within the company. And that was the reason why we said, okay, we have to do something and come up with some transparency thing. And I just put it on the top of this slide because all what you have along it is based on the work about this team, and I will come to the team later on. So what we have within the team, within the company, is that we decided we have 3 different kind of business models. It took us at that time like 6 presentations to our board to make some kind of education for this kind of business models. So the first one is very obvious, is that we have a lot of data and that we are doing things, and that's not new, that we're doing analytics for our own business with our network data, analyzing things there, and I will have one example later on. The other one, the big data as a service, is very special for a telecommunication operator, but that has to do with the topic that we have within the company T-Systems as a systems integrator. And what T-Systems is doing is that they're providing in big data infrastructure and tools, not only for us, but for other companies. and have like this big data infrastructure as a service. And the last one that is especially, and Anne mentioned it in Germany, is very disruptive, and I will tell you some stories later on, data-driven business models. So the idea behind this one is that we have a lot of data and monetize these data with different services business models. So I start a little bit more, about the team. I'm so into talk. So I already mentioned the team, and that we set up the team 3 years ago. What we did at that time, we didn't go into the board, but the level behind the board. And we said, okay, when we want to set up a team like that, we need from each business unit a person. We need from privacy, from communication, from our public affairs, from IT, from technology. We need at least one person within the team. So we have like really this aspect that we are doing, have transparency about what is going on within the company. Not that we are really going to an alignment, but at least we have the transparency and know what we are doing. And we did together these board presentations. And the other thing is that we are using synergies there, especially as I mentioned, the business unit marketing guys in Germany, they are using the T-Systems platform for their cases. So that was one of the success from this team. So we are meeting twice a week, and we said that the people are to 50% within the team to really go over the different things within the company. The alignment is on the slide, but that's still an issue, and especially at the moment where you see that data analytics, big data is popping up in every department. So we are getting requests from HR, we are getting requests from security. That's not so astonishing. But I had a chat with Mr. Dannenfeld, our CFO, 2 weeks ago, and even he is going into that subject. So we have to think a little bit how to go over that. So the first use case, what we did in Germany, and that's one of the use cases in the core telco business where we're using our own data. So what we are getting is a lot of emails every day from our customers, and it took us a lot of effort, costs to go over these emails. And what we thought, okay, wouldn't it be possible to analyze these emails automatically, to get like the email address out of it, to get some, and that's point to emotion, to get some emotional remarks out of it, because if you have an angry customer, we have special teams, and we would directly send these kind of emails to these special teams so that the customer is treated very personalized, special for this effort. And that was one of the first cases we implemented in Germany, and it's already launched and set up, just as one example. And if you look at Germany, you really, and I will come to that one, really look at the privacy issue. And the other thing is, as you can imagine, the major hurdle here is really to get access to the data. Because we have a lot of data in the systems, but when the systems were set up, you don't have the APIs to get the data out of the systems. So we are struggling a little bit here with that one. So the next one is a case from our T-Systems colleague, where they work together with Deutsche Bahn, so the train company, a public train company in Germany. And the thing here was to look at locomotives. So as you probably can imagine, if you're looking at metro, tube, or so on, it's very, very disturbing if a train breaks down. So the idea here was, is it possible to take all the sensor data you are getting from a locomotive and predict when a locomotive should go into the service. And what we discovered here, we took not only the sensor data, we took additional data, modeled it with data scientists here, and then got the results. So pattern recognition, machine learning, you can probably imagine that we used that. And the nice thing was that we really could predict it, not in all times, but we were able to predict damages. And I don't have the real numbers here, but the costs went down, and the Deutsche Bahn didn't have so many breakdowns as they had before. So it was a real success here. So, and the next one is that drove me crazy the last 4 years. So 4 years ago, we sat together in the team and we thought, okay, we have the Google, Facebooks and everything out there. So what do we have as Deutsche Telekom? So we thought, okay, one USP is the data. And then we thought, what can we do with the data? And we thought, okay, we have all the location data of our customer and we have the customer data, so information about our customer. Wouldn't it be possible to combine these kind of data, put it together, and have such use cases like real-time knowing how many people are in a bus, how many people are in a train, so you can inform the customer, this train is full, wait for the next one, or say, okay, I need another bus, I need another train, or it's better to have more buses on that line, for example. Or for emergency cases, with the mobile phones, you're seeing where are how many people, to say, okay, if you have an emergency, it's better to start first there, or just prevent it to saying there are too many people at one place, more or less having heat maps of people. So that might not be so disruptive in other countries, but we are very sensitive concerning privacy within Germany and especially within Deutsche Telekom. What it took us here is that we had to go over the complete company, we had to go into the board, and we had to convince, for example, our communication guy. I remember the first meeting with him was like ice. And then what we did is, and I'm very glad that I had my customer insight team, because we went to our customers. We have an innovation panel in Berlin with 1,000 customers, and we went to the customers with the cases I just mentioned to you, the emergency cases, buses, things like that, or advertisement cases. And the feedback was, for me, very surprising, because on one hand side, the customer said, okay, we would like to have benefit if we are giving the data to you. And I have to say, it's all anonymized. No, we'll come to that one later on. And then we want to have a benefit, but additionally, you are a company, we know that you need to earn money with that one. And that was surprising for me. And with this results, with the benefit cases, we went again to the communication guy, and then we convinced him and got support there. Similar, but that was easier with privacy, because when we started with the topic, I went to our privacy officer, Klaus Ulmer, and discussed the topic with him. And I was really say he's very innovative, very supportive. So we sit together. We have a guy working on that one for a long time. We worked for a solution that is really privacy conform for Germany. We went with him to our governmental departments, because we want to get the commitment from the department that this approach is okay. And we even are working and we on a certification. As you can imagine, this is not a topic which you can develop within a large company. That's the reason why we set up an own company for that one. 3 years ago, and as a 100% subsidiary of Deutsche Telekom. First I was the CEO, then I gave it to a new one, and right now the company is on for two years, and they have the first contract. So it was a long lessons learned how to bring such a disruptive thing with privacy, with marketing, getting the data within a large company. So, data lab. So, as you can imagine, if you start with the topic 6 years ago, you have you have Hadoop, you have Cloudera, you have Hortonworks, whatever, either data miner, whatever. We thought, okay, we need this kind of infrastructure for our own cases, but what else can we do? And so we said, okay, we set up some kind of data lab to offer that to the overall company. And this is not an operative environment, it's a small environment, so we have all the security, privacy, everything you have within Deutsche Telekom. But we are able to set up a proof of concept within 2 weeks. And we have 3 components. So I already mentioned a little bit the infrastructure and the tools. So everything here, the infrastructure and the tools is cloud-based. So you are able to sit in, I don't know, Vienna, Bonn, that's our headquarters, work on our platform. Additionally, we have a room in Berlin that is our data scientist room, where the data scientists and data engineers are working, and our colleagues from the technical university are coming 2 days a week working together with our colleagues. So that's more the technical thing. The other thing is the business modeling and the design thinking. When I remember going to big data conferences 3 years ago, everything was about IT, technology, Hadoop, and so on. And if you go now, it's changing a little bit. It's more the question, what do you want to get out of the data? And that's the reason why I combined the technical team together with my customer insight team. That we are able to do, before we go into the data, doing some workshop, what do we want to get out of it, and doing really not a business case in an early stage, but at least an estimation. What is the customer? What is the value? What can we do with it? And then go into the data. And what we do is, because this is only an experimental environment, we transfer everything into the production systems from our 2 systems colleagues, or from our German colleagues, or the colleagues within the NatCos. And to give you an overview about the overall process, so it depends a little bit what the customer wants. So if they already know, and we have external customers on the platform, I have one case later on that one, so from T-Systems. So we normally do an onboarding, and we have a mixed team, so we have people who know the domain, that's normally from the business units or from the customer side. Then we have the data engineers and the data scientists, and we have the people from the customer side working on that one. And then we normally do an ideation. If the customer already knows what they want to have, it's very short. If it's still unclear, we're doing like 1-2 days workshop, doing before a marketing research and going into that one, mainly based on the design thinking approach. And then we go into the proof of concept, depending on the data we have. Sometimes you get only like a small kind of data, not always. You have APIs where you get big data, but at least go into the data and verify if the things you want to get out of the data is really within the data. And sometimes you're getting new things. sometimes you have to go back into ideation because the data is not as you expected, and you get other results out of the data than you expected. And then we hand it over because we are not an operative environment. It's only small proof of concept environment. So, we had a lot about privacy today, and I don't need to mention much about that. Just the two different things I put on this slide, and that's from our privacy department, the different aspects between Europe and the US. And I learned from our board member, Thomas Kremer, that Germany is not the country in Germany with the hardest privacy law. It's Hungary. I was very surprised. Just one sentence here. So in Europe, and especially in Germany, you do everything to protect the data. And in the US, you really have more the focus on how you can communalize your data. What we did is our privacy department, we have on our web page some privacy guidelines, and I didn't put the complete text, so it's in German and English, so if you are interested in it, you can go on the website and read it. I just put the major issues here, and two things are the major thing, one, that we use data only if we anonymize the data. That's one thing, and we have a long history, as you can imagine, with our Motionlogic, how to anonymize data and what you have to do there. And I remember I had to go with the topic into the privacy board of Deutsche Telekom 3 times, so the question was always about the privacy. Or we have an approval of the customer, a special opt-in that the customer says, okay, you are allowed to use my personal data at that point. The other things are that we have, like, the information transparency is very obvious. It's not that we want to have like 20 pages to explain what we are doing. It should be really transparent and customer-centric there. So, and we are not giving data to third parties at that point. That's the reason why we set up Motionlogic as a 100% subsidiary of Deutsche Telekom. So another example, and that's an example from our innovation, from my department here. And with that, our colleagues in Germany came to us, and they already have, I have to hurry up a little bit. They already have a social media system, and they missed some special modules here. And what we did, they want to see how the opinion leaders are identified in the system. So we worked on that kind of module with our lab in Israel at Ben Gurion, implemented the module, and what we did is that we went to the supplier, Vico, and did a license contract with them and transferred the module with them, and they're selling the system now with our module, and we launched it in Germany. And that's my favorite topic sometimes, has to do with privacy, because we thought we worked so much on anonymization, and every time I went into the privacy board, I got the question, is there this one person who's traveling from Bonn to Berlin every day, and I can repersonalize that one? And that was the reason why we came up with that idea. And if you can start the video, it's more a marketing video, but it explains the idea very good.
We explain the advantages of synthesized data. This is Frank. He's working for a big company and is always looking for new business opportunities. In most cases, Frank could use existing data to collect useful information. With this kind of information, Frank could easily generate new lines of business or improve existing ones. Like many others, Frank would like to use existing customer data. But without a declaration of consent from the customer, he is not allowed to use the data that's right in front of him. Additionally, the personal data is legally owned by a different part of Frank's company and therefore can't be transferred. This is due to the company's rules, privacy laws, and has ethical reasons as well. Frank knows the customer's privacy must be protected at all times. So what can he do to use this valuable data anyway? Well, Frank could anonymize the data. But with some effort, the data could be traced back to its origin. The customer could be identified. Frank absolutely wants to avoid troubles with data protection. Is there nothing he can do? The solution to Frank's problem is as simple as that: synthesized data. How does it work? Through a mathematical algorithm, the existing data records are abstracted and turned into new synthetic records. They cannot be traced back to their origin. That is the unique advantage of synthesized data. It can be stored in any way and transferred to Frank so he can finally use the data. It's of the same quality as the original, but without the legal troubles. Frank is happy. Thanks to synthesized data, he has access to the information he needs, avoiding any privacy concerns. Perfect. Interested? Get in touch with us now or visit syntheticdata.com for more information.
So as you can imagine, it's not working for all kind of data, but for a lot of data with some special things. I will skip that because I'm running a little bit out of time. Just to show you, we have on the left-hand side open data from taxis, New York taxis. You probably know that kind of data. We have the pickups and drop-offs on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, you have the synthetic generated data. So it's not exactly the same, but it's very, very similar. And the basic idea is that we are taking the statistical parameters of the data set and using that to generate a complete new data set, and then throwing away the original data set at that point. I don't know if I have some more time left or no. Just mentioned it at the end, so that one case we have with a customer here, and we looked for the probability of outcomes of an energy network, and we used graphs here to model everything and to predict that, and that was relative successful, that we really found things where we can predict the outage of that one. If you're interested in that one, just come up to me. Thank you.